Welcome back to the channel, folks. Let's take a look behind the curtain of what's really going on with Canada's economy under the constant US pressure. Because despite everything Washington has thrown at us, the Canadian economy isn't just surviving. We are thriving. And frankly, it's driving the American white dumbhouse out of their flippin' mind. Here's the quick overview of what we will be talking about today. First, the surprise. Canada just posted growth numbers that are absolute crushed expectations, leaving the US economy in the dust. Second, the strategy. While the US tries to bully us, we are quietly extending trade relations everywhere else, from South America all the way to Europe and Indo-Pacific. Third, the pressure. The boycotts are biting back, and Canadian consumers and workers feeling the pain. Big time. And fourth, the shift. Canada has changed the game on aluminum, and the US auto industry is the one paying the price. Let's get right into it. Let's start with the numbers, because the numbers tell a real story. Canada's economy expanded 0.3% in May, and early estimates put the second quarter of this year's annual growth at a jaw-dropping 3.4%. Compare that to the US sitting at 1.5%. That's more than double them. Some folks, especially MAGA and Maple MAGA, tried to claim we were just heading towards a recession. The data proved them dead wrong. According to RBC economists, growth occurred across both our goods producing and service providing industries. That of course includes mining, oil and gas, construction, manufacturing, real estate, public administration, and so on. And get this, the Bank of Canada only projected 2.5% for the quarter. We blew past that forecast. Even the economists are scratching their heads, saying the underlying economy is still grinding ahead. That's Canadian resilience, plain and simple. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. While everyone was focused on the tariff threats, Canada quietly sealed yet another free trade agreement on July 24th, in this case with Ecuador. And here's why this is truly remarkable. Because it completes the Pacific Wall. We now have free trade agreements with every single South American nation across that Pacific coastline. And the Ecuador deal means 99.6% of Ecuador's goods now enter Canada tariff-free, and 97.2% of our goods go into Ecuador tariff-free as well. We are talking bananas, shrimp, cocoa, flowers, and our cereals, fertilizers, and industrial goods going to Ecuador. That's over 600 product categories with no tariffs. This is supply chain diversification at its finest. We are bypassing the US entirely. No more relying on US distributors for South American agriculture. We've locked in alternative trade corridors that no US political shift can reverse. And here's the kicker. This was all done quietly, while the orange idiot was preoccupied with his failing war on Iran. Remember when the American conmen jacked up tariffs on Canadian aluminum to 50%? We didn't just sit here and took it. We pivoted fast. Let's talk about what Mark Carney did with the orange gangsters' aluminum tariffs, because this is the part that has US automakers sweating. Canadian aluminum exports to Europe surged 51% month over month up to this year's May 2026. Our producers also realized they could get much better value selling to the EU. In the first quarter, Canada's share of US aluminum imports dropped from 75% to 54%. That's a massive shift. And this is why it hurts the US so bad. American imports over half of all the aluminum it consumes. And Canada used to supply about 70% of that. And Trump's America can't replace that because Canadian smelting runs on cheap hydroelectricity. Replicating that capacity domestically, that would require a power grid expansion that is basically impossible. Europe is facing a 560 million ton aluminum supply gap. And guess who is stepped up? Canadian producers are locked in, and Europe is willing to pay record premiums. And the US? Well, they are scrambling. And US automakers have no choice but to pass on their higher material costs straight to American consumers. The higher price tag is just another reason for Canadians not to buy American cars. Just saying. The provincial bans of US alcohol are doing serious damage to the US economy as well. According to figures of the US Census Bureau, wine exports to Canada dropped by 360 million US in 2025. Spirits fell another 150 million US. This isn't just a political statement, my friends. It is hard economic pain for American producers. And it's not just Canada. Mexico joined the boycott as well. The two largest US trading partners turning their back on US goods. That is demand destruction on a permanent scale. Canadians and Mexicans are shifting to local and alternative products. And that shift isn't going to reverse just because Trumpionized America changes its tunes. All this benefits Canada by reducing our absolute trade reliance on the US, securing cheaper consumer goods like awesome electric vehicles. And Canada gains more access to highly lucrative export markets for our agriculture, seafood, and energy sectors. The American market dominance is eroding, while nobody in the White Dumb House seems to notice. Let's wrap this up, my friends. Trump started a fight with Canada, thinking he could cripple our economy. Instead, we've used that pressure to diversify, like never before. Our GDP is outpacing the US. Our trade networks now spans from South America to Europe to the Indo-Pacific. We directed aluminum to where the money is, and we are boycotting American goods in a way that's causing lasting damage to US businesses. The US working class is paying the price for Trump's tariff terror, with higher costs, job loss, and declining opportunities. Meanwhile, Canada is building for the long haul, with more than 24 active trade agreements and strong goals to double our non-US export by 2035. Here's the bottom line. Trump can't win this fight. He's going after a nation that's pivoting, adapting and thriving. We've got our elbows up, our trade routes open, and our economy moving forward. What do you think? Is Trump starting to realize he can't bully Canada the way he thought he could? Drop your comments below and let our amazing community know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because we are going to keep tracking this trade war all the way to the finish line. Thanks for watching. I'm Wilfried Lemkuler with Europe Curious, where we don't just repeat the daily headlines, but open the curtain so you can see for yourself what's really behind it. See you in the next one.